Many cultures have different views on fidelity, but there is a place in the world that can shock even the most liberal. Imagine you arrive at a place and her boyfriend simply offers his own wife for you to spend the night with. Strange, isn't it? But what story is this? In this video, we will dive into the depths of Alaska, a place where nature reigns supreme, with breathtaking landscapes and stories as old as the snow-covered peaks. It is a land known for its spectacular natural beauty, unique wildlife, and a resilient community forged in the cold and solitude. They live in such an extreme and fascinating environment that they have created unique and peculiar legends, habits, and traditions. So prepare for an adventure in this extraordinary place. Grab your best coat and come with me on this journey, where I'm sure you will be surprised. And stay until the end of the video so you don't miss anything from this place and understand more about this so different and wonderful place and the culture of its people. Alaska, contrary to what many think, is not a country, but a state that is part of the United States. Located in North America and being one of the territories closest to the North Pole, Alaska is recognized as one of the most challenging and beautiful environments in the world. Despite its vast extent, which makes it the largest state in the USA, for you to have a notion, it is interesting to note that Alaska is even larger than our Amazon. And yet it is known as one of the least populous places in the United States, even with its territorial immensity and largely due to the difficulty of living in this region. The climate is well known for its long and cold winters, where the temperature can drop below 40 degrees Celsius negative. The maximum I got in my life was -5 degrees. And it was not a pleasant sensation. -40 must be a crazy thing. And in its mild summers, the temperature can reach 30 degrees Celsius in some areas. There is a very clear difference in the seasons there. A difference of up to 70 degrees Celsius in my city here. When a cold front hits, everyone gets a cold. Because of the thermal change, imagine 70 degrees. It really is not for anyone. But then who are these people and how do they live in such an extreme environment? You probably know them as Eskimos, but this word has been considered by some as offensive. Its translation means raw meat eater, and besides that, there is the fact that it was used by the colonizers to refer to the indigenous peoples of the Arctic. So, to rescue their identity and avoid using a word considered pejorative, many of these tribes began to call themselves Inuit. Inuit is a word in Inuktitut that means the people or real people. The Inuits have a deep connection with the land and the environment, as well as a series of spiritual beliefs and practices that shape their way of life. One of the most important beliefs of the Inuits is the idea that all living beings are interconnected and depend on each other to survive. This holistic conception of the world is reflected in their respect for nature and in their care to use natural resources sustainably. This intimate relationship with nature is clear in the way they build their famous houses. They build ice houses, which are known as igloos, to protect themselves from extreme cold. But one thing I always wondered about was this: how does making an ice house keep you warm? And I went to my research. These ingenious structures are made of compacted snow blocks. Inside this snow, there are many air bubbles. These air bubbles function as thermal insulators. When the snow blocks are stacked to form the igloo, these air bubbles get trapped, preventing the heat from escaping. So it's as if these air bubbles formed a wall between the heat inside the igloo and the cold outside, providing a warm and safe refuge amidst the frozen landscape. Although nowadays many Arctic communities use modern dwellings, the art of building igloos remains an important part of Inuit culture. Nowadays, they continue to maintain many of their traditions while they adapt and evolve. But there is a tradition that calls much more attention than the others. If a man is invited by an Inuit family to their house, it is very likely that he will be offered the host's wife as a form of hospitality. When I read about this here, I didn't believe it. It couldn't be true, something like this. But I found several articles and books that support this fact. And tell me, would you accept it? If your answer was no, I think it's better to rethink your answer, because they can take your negative as a serious offense, where you can even be punished with death. And the only way to escape is by liking this video. Then we will bring videos more frequently for you. So think twice before entering an Inuit house. But don't think that it's all a big joke. Of course, this is not a rule. It's not in every Inuit house that this will happen. It's a very old custom that still remains, but only in some places, mainly those more distant. And it is known as wife sharing. In their view, this practice was not seen only as a gesture of hospitality, but also as a way to strengthen social ties, resolve conflicts, and establish alliances between different groups. Another factor was that in the past, the Inuit people divided themselves into small groups, and when they saw a stranger, it was an opportunity to promote genetic diversity within the Inuit communities, avoiding consanguinity and strengthening genetic variety. This contributed to the health and vitality of future generations. But they also practice couple swapping, always with religious purposes and under the guidance of their shaman, an intermediary between the human and spiritual world. These shamans have special skills to communicate with spirits, perform rituals and ceremonies to heal diseases, predict the future, and protect the community. They are highly respected for their wisdom and knowledge of the mysteries of the spiritual world. But it is very important to note that this practice is carried out within a specific cultural context and should not be judged based on the contemporary standards of our society. In fact, women have a very important role in the Inuit daily life. They actively participate in hunting, fishing, and any other outdoor activity. They are women known for their strength and resistance. In addition, hunting and fishing are essential activities in the life of the Inuits, not only to ensure their subsistence, but also as intrinsic elements to their culture and tradition, fundamental for their survival in one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. They are excellent hunters, and whale hunting plays a vital role in their cultures for centuries. These whales provide food and other essential resources for the survival of Inuit communities, demonstrating even more their deep connection with the environment and the natural resources around them. As for food, well, they have a very varied and different menu, being heavily influenced by indigenous traditions and the abundance of seafood and game available, hunting from reindeer, seals, polar bears, moose, to even whales. And it is with the whale that they make one of their most traditional dishes, the muktuk, which is made from the skin and fat of the whale, usually from the beluga whale or the narwhal. The muktuk can be savored raw, fermented, fried, or cooked, and its taste is compared to that of nuts. For visitors, it is a truly unique culinary experience. But you're not going to come here just for the culinary experience. No, you have to know some really special places that leave the visitors who come to Alaska open-mouthed, because they are really unique places that you don't find in other places in the world. Starting with Denali National Park, where is the highest mountain in North America, and in this park, besides admiring this beautiful landscape, you can still go hiking while watching bears, reindeer, and several other animals loose in nature, in their true habitat. Spectacular. Tracy Arm Fjord is known for its impressive ice cliffs, huge floating icebergs, and crystal clear waters. It is a very popular destination for boat tours and whale watching. Mendenhall Glacier is very close to the city of Juneau, the capital of Alaska, is a natural wonder easily accessible. It offers spectacular panoramic views, impressive waterfalls, and the unique opportunity to hike and kayak among icebergs. Imagine exploring its ice caves, feeling the imposing blue ice under your feet. And now what for me is my great dream of one day witnessing. Did you know that Alaska is one of the best places in the world to admire the inexplicable northern lights? This celestial spectacle is also known as the Dance of the Spirits. This extraordinary phenomenon occurs when solar particles interact with the Earth's atmosphere, creating a stunning light show. In places like Fairbanks, it is possible to witness some of the most spectacular views of these colorful lights dancing in the night sky. It must be simply the most beautiful spectacle of nature. Imagine on a cold and clear night, observing the northern lights in a variety of colors, from green and blue to pink and purple. It's a truly magical and unforgettable experience for those lucky enough to witness it. Another feature that sets Alaska apart is the presence of its volcanoes. With more than 130 active volcanoes, Alaska stands out as one of the most volcanically active regions in the world. These volcanoes are characterized by pronounced cones and steep slopes, giving them an impressive and majestic appearance, but also representing potential risks. Volcanic activity in Alaska can present significant dangers to local communities and the environment, triggering eruptions that result in lava flows, burning clouds, debris avalanches, and the release of toxic volcanic gases. Such events can threaten lives, properties, and affect the quality of air and water. However, despite the dangers, volcanic activity is an intrinsic part of Alaska's natural environment, as present as its legends and myths. Now, if you're thinking of coming here, rest assured, because despite being a very distant place, it is indeed possible for you to travel to Alaska. As it is part of the United States, if you, like me, are an ordinary Brazilian, you will need an American visa to enter Alaska. And there are 3 international airports in the cities of Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska and has only 32,000 inhabitants. While Anchorage has almost 290,000 inhabitants, almost 10 times more populous than the state capital, which is quite peculiar. But Anchorage has several factors on its side for this to happen. Firstly, Anchorage enjoys a strategic and accessible location. Located in the heart of southern Alaska, Anchorage serves as a central connection point for travelers and businesses seeking easy and convenient access to the rest of the state and even beyond national borders. Its Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport is one of the busiest airports in the world in terms of air cargo, making it vital for trade and the transport of goods between North America, Asia, and Europe. And with this, the city has created a diversified economy that attracts residents and businesses from various sectors. The city is a financial, trade, and service center with significant industries in areas such as oil, gas, tourism, fishing, and logistics. These economic opportunities attract a diverse population in search of employment, business opportunities, and a conducive environment for professional growth. Meanwhile, Juneau, although it is the capital of Alaska, is a smaller and more isolated city, accessible only by boat or plane due to its remote location. Although it is a charming city with a rich history and beautiful coastal landscapes. And the funniest thing about this is that if we look at the map, Anchorage is further north on the map than Juneau, which theoretically would make it colder than Juneau. But Anchorage is located in a coastal area protected by the Chugach Mountains, which act as a barrier against the cold winds from the north, contributing to milder temperatures. In addition, the warm ocean currents from the Pacific Ocean can have a warming effect on the Anchorage region. In this incredible dive through the majestic landscapes and unique culture of Alaska, we discover a world of contrasts and wonders. From the dancing northern lights in the sky to the imposing volcanoes that dot the landscape, Alaska is truly a place of beauty and mystery. We explored not only the most famous sites, but also the deeply rooted traditions of the Inuit people, who have survived and thrived in this challenging environment for centuries. Their traditions and customs, even the strangest and most fascinating ones, offer an incredible window into a rich and vibrant culture shaped by the extreme nature that surrounds them. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. My name is Nick and see you next time.